to switch gears today, and we're going to talk a little bit about the value or the service that you offer. I do tons of manifestation and radionics and energy medicine and all of these things, and EFT, hypnotherapy, pendulums. I talk about all the woo-woo stuff, and I bring the science in behind it, so hopefully you appreciate the scientific part of it. But mostly I work with people who are in business. Mostly I work with women in sales. And I have found that women in sales, as I've said before, can have dysregulated nervous systems. And when we're sometimes in fight or flight, we kind of forget what we're doing. And so today I want to zone in to business. And I want to ask you to get really clear on what your offer is. For example, if you sell houses, that's just the visibility first layer. What you really do is you help people capitalize on their greatest asset so that they, if you're selling a listing, so that they can downgrade, upgrade, or have security, financial security. If you're working with buyers, your service is finding them their family home. Do you see how different it is to say, I sell houses versus I help people find their family home? Huge. For me, people say, well, what do you do? The visibility, the first layer is, well, I'm a success and wellness manifestation coach. I help women in sales. But if you get deeper, I help women in sales clear their energy and become more empowered for abundance. I'm just making this up. I didn't pre-script this. Let's take another, let's say you're a massage therapist. First level, I do Reiki and sweetest massage. That's your first level. What you really do is you help people clear the blocks that are holding them back at the physical level. You know, and we know massage and Reiki gets into the energy level, but I'm just giving you examples. So our visibility is what we put out in the world that we do. Like, nobody is going to find, we don't have yellow pages anymore, but we have online. So no one is going to go to Google and say, find me someone who will give me peace of mind because I now have homeowners insurance. We have to have the visibility factor. So we want homeowners insurance. We want people who sell homeowners insurance in our area. That's the visibility factor. But you have to position yourself as what service you really provide. I provide peace of mind for people in their greatest asset, their home, right? So all of a sudden you went from being someone who sells homeowners insurance to someone who offers peace of mind. Do you see how subtle but significant that is? You know, and for me, and I have struggled a lot with this in my career because, you know, at one time I was a wellness coach, and then I've been a long time real estate coach. And then I kind of went online with all my energy modalities. Now, just to be clear, I've always done hypnotherapy and I've always done some sort of energy work, but it didn't seem like it belonged in the social media, I'm a business coach capacity, you know, and a real estate professor. Just like talking about EFT and hypnotherapy and woo-woo stuff didn't really seem like it fit in, which is why I went down the tunnel of science, which is why I'm like, I'm going to show you there's scientific validity behind this. And that's the last 10 books I've written have all been based in science. You know, some woo-woo, but science in every book. So the point being that I want you to ask yourself, what is it that I do? If someone said, what's that person do? What is your role? That's the visibility. That's what you want to be known for on Google, you know, in your Facebook profile, in your LinkedIn profile, on your Instagram account. These are things that you want in your profile because that's what you do. But whether it's your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever, your underneath line can give the value. So I'm just going to use real estate. Your Instagram profile might say real estate, Greater Toronto area. And then underneath it, it might be, I help people's home ownership dreams come true. Or I help families find a forever home. Or I help, people earn equity off their homes, whatever it is. So go deeper with your value. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm asking you to do that is not just so I have something to talk about in the video today. The reason I'm asking you to do that is because when you get your head around and your energy around what it is you do, what value you offer to people, what service you provide, we start looking at it from the end result. To just say, I sell homeowners insurance is like, okay, so does everyone else, or so do so many people. But I want a result. You're going to have peace of mind when you work with me, right? And you can do this across any industry. You really, really can. I don't want to be morbid, but let's say, and I've never really worked with a funeral home, but if you have a funeral home, obviously it's a funeral home. You sell caskets and make burial arrangements. That's pretty cut and dry. But what your service is, you give family members a peace of mind that their loved ones are being, treated like royalty or whatever. That was really corny, but you know what I mean? So you're really getting your head around it, and you're doing it for two things. You're not doing it to make me happy. You're doing it so that you can, number one, embody that for yourself. Because all too often we get caught up in what we do. I talk to real estate agents every day, and it's like, yeah, I closed 15 sites in the last 2 months. I need to close, da, 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 da. You're talking numbers, you're talking activities and actions and hustle and grind. What did you really do? How many families did you help? What was your number one, challenge that you overcame? How happy did you make those people? Those little tidbits are the stories that you can share in your content. If you want to leave names out, you can. If you don't have permission, please do. There are examples you can give. You can build videos on them. You can build all sorts of content. You can include it in your newsletter. You can make Facebook, social media posts about it. So it's good content, number one. But it helps people out there know what you do. And the number one and the number two, the number two is it helps people know what you do, but the number one is you get your head around it. Because how much differently do you show up if you're showing up to be of service? You're showing up to be out there and be of service. There's nothing, it's so funny because a lot of time, especially being in the real estate industry for so long, it's considered like I'm just go, hustle, grind, call, all of this. But when you get your head around the idea that you're really being of service, you make the world a better place, right? You make the world a better place when you're coming at it from a place of service. So the first person that you have to share that value with is yourself. I help people. Like for me, I may on the surface, I help women in sales. I coach women in sales. Or I work with energy, or I work with nervous systems, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, when I finished up a Zoom session or my Zoom sessions for the day, I know that I'm giving these women hope and relief and solutions and helping them become the greatest version of themselves. So that's a huge, huge thing. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to think about as you plan your business. If you have a business, where are you helping people, and what value are you providing? Like, what is the tangible outcome? And I'll tell you right now, the most important things to people, and I've spent years in marketing, and I've taken many marketing classes and many marketing coaching programs, copywriting, all of that. And there's 3 things that people care about. And it's money, love, and health. So under money, business success, financial freedom, and that could look for someone For one person, it could look like building a multi-million-dollar empire. For another person, it's like, how in the hell am I going to buy groceries this week? But money is a really, really big driving factor. The other one is health. And this could be a person who's pretty prime health, or someone who is like taking their last breath, seeing if they can bring any comfort or relief to their cancer. And love. And love includes relationships with your friends, your coworkers, your spouse or partner, your children, your parents. That all goes under love. So those are the 3 areas that people care about. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to select one of those. Now, I have had many coaches that I've talked to say, but I help with all. Like, I'm a hypnotherapist. So at any one time back in my day, I would have a cancer patient, someone who had addiction, someone who had anxiety disorder, someone who wanted to build a business, and a construction worker. So it was all over the place. And that's when I knew I had to get honed in. And so I really honed in at the initial point. I honed in to wellness, and just started working with wellness. And now I work with women in sales. But let me tell you, every single one of them will have a health concern, a relationship concern, and a money concern. Do you get that? So you pick your niche, your target. What value do you provide? And then you be of service to that particular niche. And then you can do all the other magic that you do if that's what you do. Like I have a couple of people that I work with, only a couple that I teach energy work to, or radionics, or my AO scanner, and that's not my main gig, but there's a couple people that show a lot of promise, and so I do work with them, and they want to help everyone do everything, just like I always have, and I always do. But you got to really narrow down, what is your niche going to be? What area is it going to be in? And then what value do you provide those people in that niche? Okay, so hopefully you found this helpful. I hope you have a great day. Link below if you want to get in on a summer special scan price, or it's a discounted price if you want to have a scan and a session, or if you just want to have a single session, do the Let's Chat. Maybe you don't want any stinking scan at all. Maybe your energy is fine and you just want to talk to me about building your business. I will help you. So just use the link below and have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching.